Hello, everyone. This is Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews. We've got my camera is not working today, but so you'll have to imagine what I look like. Make sure I look beautiful. Um, in person, beautiful, though, where you can actually see her. We have Jenn Lee, the president and CMO of Vacation Planners and Travel Planners International. Hello, Jenn. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Happy that my camera is working so I can see everybody. Or wait, they can only see me. It's only a one-way camera. That's right. Hello, everyone.
Well, we are so glad to have you here. Just some quick notes. So we got the webinar going on today, but don't forget to tune in on Friday for our Friday 15 because we have Jenn is going to be on. And if you've never tuned in for the Friday 15, we answer the industry questions that you have submitted. And we have some good ones this Friday. I think we have one on like how do host agencies choose preferred suppliers. We have one on how do you narrow down a host agency? So great ones, especially if you're someone that's newer to the industry and kind of wondering how all the pieces fit together. So we'll drop the link in the comments, but you can also go to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15 to sign up for the email reminders where you'll get the link to sign on this Friday. But today we've got a webinar. Jenn is going to be chatting about if you've an established agency, you're not quite sure what to do, you feel like you've reached a plateau, she's going to give you some ideas on how to move forward and bring yourself to the next level. So,
Yes.
Jenn, I think I'm going to toss it over to you. But everybody, if you have questions, put them in the comments. And Jenn, do you want to just answer them as we're going along?
Happy to. I love an interactive conversation, but for those of you who are not watching it live and this is the recording, you're not going to get to ask questions live. So I'll give you a resource for you to follow up later on. But yeah, just ask along the way. Somebody will interrupt me. I can see the comments over here. I see Rita and Diana. Hi, guys.
Yay, hello. And then another note that I may have to drop off halfway through, but we'll have Jen Myers from our team jumping on. So you get a Steph Lee and a Jenn Lee, and then a Jenn Lee and a Jen Myers. So it's a very fun day for everybody. I was super excited.
We should play the lottery.
You're right. We should do that today.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, take it over, Jenn.
I will. Thank you. Hey, everybody. So good to see you. For those that are tuning in live and those that are listening later on, thanks for tuning in. This is one of those topics that I always tell people I start marinating on ideas based on the hundreds of conversations that I have in our industry, whether it be face to face when I'm speaking or I'm on the phone with maybe a vacation planners franchisee or someone who's looking to buy a franchise or one of our TPI advisors. And what I'm hearing, and even podcasts that are out there right now, one of my favorite podcasts is the 10 Lounge. They were just talking about this topic. This seems to be a hot topic right now, which is people are booming, their businesses are booming, or they're starting to grow. And, just like when you're a kid, as you start to grow, you have those growing pains. And now is the time for you to really take a close look at your business to see what is that next move, because what you thought you were going to be, or what you thought your business was going to be, and what role you played in it could be changing along the way as you start kind of moving forward in your business. And again, if you resonate with anything that I'm saying, if you've got any questions, if you disagree with me, those are the most fun ones because I always win at the end. I'm always right at the end, but go ahead and put it in there. But today, I'm going to spend time asking you some tough questions and giving you some things to think about and decisions that I think you should make, the top 5 decisions I think you should make at the end of this webinar. So let's go to the very first thing. Like I said, a lot of people at the crossroads, they're asking themselves, where do I want to go next? Is it that I want to stay independent? Or do I want to adopt a support spectrum? And I'm going to dive a little deeper into what both of those mean. But when I say stay independent, really what I'm talking about is, are you still wanting to be kind of a party of one? right? Like I like controlling everything in my business aspect. I like doing the social media. I like doing the blogs. Or maybe you're somebody who is just on referrals and word of mouth, and your phone is ringing, really well. Maybe you've designed an email automation and workflow through your CRM that allows you to kind of be that solo, no other teammate whatsoever helping you along the way. Nobody else. It's just you and you alone. And let me tell you, I meet advisors all the time that are $1 million plus producers that have no assistance because they've got their processes down. They know exactly who they sell to, what they sell. They don't worry so much about new sales funnels and marketing funnels. Their funnel is really attached to leveraging their current relationships and their current customers. That's what I mean by staying independent. The second is you looking at your business and say, I think it's time for me to adopt a support spectrum type business. And I'm going to dive deeper into that. And what I mean by that is there are some advisors that want to build teams, and the team in the past has always been adding additional advisors to your team and building like an agency, as if you had tables, desks in an office, building that agency. But in reality, and again, this is kudos to Corrine Johnson and Teresa Chu Bermudez of the 10 Lounge, and I agree with them completely. They challenged everyone. A team is not necessarily additional advisors. It's who is your support system? What is that support system that you have adopted? And you want a support system because you want to grow your business in a different way. So we're going to kind of dive into it. So if you're at that crossroads, type that in. If you're watching us live, type that in. Yep, I'm at a crossroads. That's why I tuned in. I kind of need to know how to make my next move. Here's the challenge that I see across the board with advisors and agency owners, people who want to build their agency. They're looking at what is that work to wow ratio. In other words, how much work do I have to put in to get the equal amount, if not more, wow? One of the things, the questions are really a statement that I say all the time. In business, it's got to make you money and bring you joy. It has to do both, guys. If it's making you money and not bringing you any joy, that is called torture. And you should not subscribe to that. You need to have joy in what you do. If it's only bringing you joy and not making you money, that's called volunteerism. Because in business, you have to make money to be able to serve more folks. And if you love what you do, which most of you do, you love what you do, and you're very good at that curation part of the process. You've got to make money so you can stay in business so that you can help more people. So one of the challenges is that work to wow ratio is off, right? Something's not quite balanced. The second is that I see advisors are distracted with too many options. And this comes in the form of, how do I market? When AI came out, I'm all about using prompts to help us with social media, help us write blogs, prompts to help us narrow down options, using AI to help us put together a presentation, which I did not in this because I love Canva. I'm all about Canva. AI can help us in so many ways. So then we're kind of going down that learn AI route. Then other people are like, no, I really want to learn how to get really rock star status in the social media world. So I'm going to be all about Instagram or all about TikTok, or I'm going to really work LinkedIn. Oh, wait, I've got people over here on Facebook, so I really need to understand Meta. Okay, that's great. Oh, wait, I'm distracted because now I've got friends that are telling me they're working with online influencers. Okay, so now I want to go down that route. Wait, you know what? The Chamber of Commerce is a great place. Do you see where I'm going? We're distracted. Yeah, we're distracted with way too many options. And so sometimes in the beginning stages, the first few years of your business, you're trying a little bit of everything, and that's natural. But at this stage, when you're at the crossroads, you've got to really not be distracted. You have to hone in on what that is. So that's a challenge, honing in on what that is. And the third is really lack of a solid long-term direction. What I find, Steph, is that a lot of advisors jump into this business because they love travel. They want to help people travel. They're looking for flexibility in their home life. They have a passion for business. There's usually 2 or 3 reasons, but that passion for travel, and they think singularly. Most folks think solo, think in that independent stage. I am a travel advisor. They don't have, when I ask the question, and I'm going to ask you guys these questions in a moment, but when I ask the question, what are you building towards? Most people don't have an answer, or the answer is, oh, I'm just, wanting to, make enough money to put my kid through college, or I want to be able to quit my full-time job and do this full-time. That's not a direction. That is a goal, but it's not a direction. So I'm going to walk you through it. And so with these 3 challenges, what happens is you can't make good moves, right? So if you're at a crossroads and you don't really know the answer, which way to go, east or go west, if you don't know what's in the east section and what's in the west section, if you don't know where you really want to end up in the mountains or on a beach, you really can't make a smart decision. So let me flip over to see if there's any questions. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Excellent. All right. So here are the tough questions. I want you guys to write these down. Okay. And I want you to really I'm going to slow down for a moment, and I want you to answer them live while you're writing it, while I'm asking these questions. Whoops. Oh no. Oh no, my animation didn't work. Ay. Hold on. No, the questions are there. There we go. Here it is, the tough question.
Let's hold on just a second.
Yep, I stopped sharing. Yep, stand by. Hold on. Let's see if it works out. There we go. Tough questions. The first question to ask yourself is, what impact do I want to make with my business? What impact do I want to make with my business? This could be a personal impact. It could be an impact in your community. But what impact do you want to make? An emotional impact? Like, I just want to hear and see that my friends and family are traveling right. An answer could be, the impact I want to make with my business is I want to be able to retire early. Like, what impact do I want to make with my business? The second question is, what am I building towards anyway? And this is the one stuff that there's really one of 4 answers to this. And this is it. You're either building this business for you to be able to sell it one day. Are you building your business to be able to be in a financial situation where you could buy another agency? Are you building your current business to hand down to somebody, whether it be within your family, or you want to bring on a partner that you want to eventually have them take over your business? And the most popular answer is number 4. I haven't thought about that, Jenn Lee. That is the most popular answer. So it's one of 4 questions. Steph, do you have something to say with that, babe?
No, just that that's not surprising that it's number 4.
Yeah, number 4 is the number 1 question. Okay, so Diana, you're following on spot. Okay. Hopefully you can see these questions. If not, I'll talk slower. Darn it, why does it keep doing this? I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Hate this. This is the first time I'm using this type of automate. The challenge. The tough question. Here we go. What do I need to do or change to get closer to my goals? So if the impact of the answer to question number 1 was the impact that I want to make with my business is I want to be able to bring in $75,000 extra per year to my family household, you've got to ask yourself, and usually most people are aware of it. What do I need to do or change to get closer to my goal? If I'm not hitting that goal, you kind of know it. Like, write it down. What's the first thing you think of? I was talking to one of our franchisees the other day, and she was telling me, I'm the one standing in my way. I really need to be more proactive. And okay, you already know it. So now what do you need to do to become more proactive becomes the next thing. But it's a good question to ask yourself and for you to be aware of. Number 4, what or who is standing in my way of being able to get closer to my goals, for me to be able to, make the impact that I'm looking for in my business? Sometimes it's yourself. Sometimes it is, I've just not slowed down enough to implement a really strong CRM email automation and workflow. I know it's something that if I do it, I hear people talk about it all the time, but I haven't had a chance to slow down and do it. Sometimes it's an email newsletter. Maybe it's me standing in my own way because I'm afraid to go to that chamber meeting. Maybe it's because, you know what, I really do want to do that one thing that I see this other advisor do, but I don't know where to start. You know, I really hear groups are where I'm supposed to be, but what's standing in my way to be able to start diving into groups? Is it education? Is it confidence, right? Is it the right connections? And then this gets right down to the tough question. What role do I want to play in my business? Or I should say, let me rephrase that. It's more of what do I want my business to look like? Do I want to be, single Sally, where it's just me alone with no other support? I'm doing my own technology, my own marketing. Are you single Sally? Or are you looking at possibly tapping into a support spectrum, which I recognize the word is spelled wrong. Steph, you built a business. Were any of these questions ones that you asked early on, or did it take a while for you to realize I need to ask some of these questions, or at least know the answers to some of these questions?
Yeah, I thought about them in the beginning, but as your business evolves and changes, like in the beginning, I swore I never wanted a team. Like that was when I built HAR, I was like, I just want to be by myself. I don't want to be managing people because I don't enjoy that. And that was my goal. But now I have a team and like things evolved and it's worked out differently than I envisioned, which I think is important for people to know. But that it's really important to think about these things. So like you said, you have a direction that you're going in because the map's not helpful if you don't know where anything is.
Yeah,
Like
if
if
you
you
don't know what, yeah, you don't know if you want to, it's kind of like a client. They call and go, oh, I'm looking for a weekend getaway. And you're like, I'm going to need a little bit more information than that, right? Have you ever had somebody and like, do you want to be, so you start kind of going through it. Do you want to be within driving distance somewhere? Do you want to fly? Do you want to be on the beach or do you want to go in the mountains? Like, do you want, like, how far do you want to, you have to start narrowing it down. It's the same thing. And I am not anti-independent in any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, plenty of advisors. But I think what happens is advisors get at a crossroads because they're having a good time, or maybe they're suffering a little bit. They're booking their business, but they don't want to hire associates, right? Like they don't want to bring on additional travel advisors. And so you can look at that support spectrum or that team as being building on a team that's going to help you do the other things that you don't want to do. So I think it's important for you to be honest with yourself. Again, I know plenty of advisors like, nope, I don't need to hire anybody. I like being fully in control of everything. And I've got a system down that allows me to do that and be able to make the money, make the impact that I'm looking for in my business, and help me build towards something. All right. So let's keep going. Go ahead, Ben.
I ask really quickly, when you say independent versus support spectrum, because independent, depending on who you're talking to, means different things. Are you talking about someone with their own accreditation or someone with a host agency or both? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this case, listen, I think unless you're doing $10 million a year, you are literally cutting off your nose if you're not with a host agency. And quite frankly, you should be with a host agency that has a strong consortia. But that's my personal opinion. I just think people think that it drives me crazy because people think, oh, I'm not new. I don't need a host agency. I'm like, do you realize that the people who've been in business for 30 and 40 years still partner with a host agency for the top tier commission? So in this case, independent has nothing to do with IATA. Now, there's plenty of people who have their own IATA number and are with a consortia direct, and I support that as well. But they're doing millions and millions. Like, to me, if you're not doing at least 10 million, you are probably losing money. But that's my personal opinion. So it's really about, do I want to build a team? It could be a team of associates. It could be a team of third-party providers that do things for you so that you have a team. And I'm going to get a little bit further into this in a couple of slides. So one of the questions before you can answer, oh yeah, I want to be all by myself, I don't need to build a team, I think I can handle it, or I think I might want to build a team, is you've got to ask yourself some of these assessment questions. And I love these because, oh, gosh darn it, I keep hitting the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. I love these questions because it's really kind of a quick gut check. So if someone came to you and said, I have a very large group opportunity of 200 cabins on a ship, can you help me? Are you prepared currently to say yes? Absolutely, positively, without a doubt, no hesitation, you can do it. If you've never done it before, this is what I'm talking about. If you've never done it before and you get this large group opportunity, is it an immediate yes, or is it a hesitant yes, or is it a no, I don't think I can handle that? You've got to ask yourself, and truly in your gut, do you think you could do it? The second question would be, if you had a chance to partner with an influencer, an online influencer, which I'm very high on this, and I'm actually doing a webinar. If you join my Facebook group, I'll tell you about this webinar I'm doing in a couple of weeks just about this. But if you had a chance to partner with an influencer who had 10,000 followers, that are the customers that you would love to get in front of, would you do it? Or would you say, no, I don't want to do that? And why would you not want to do it? Because I think we're missing so many opportunities because we don't know how to do it. And too many people are like, I don't want to work with an influencer. Short-sighted, number one. Number two, it would give you an opportunity to stay independent if you wanted to, or now you've got another team, a sales funnel marketing team. All right. So third, if is simple gut check assessment. You're ready? Can you add team members to your agency right now? Do you feel ready and confident, prepared to train them, to support them? Do you feel ready to add team members? Because at some point, you're not going to be able to scale past a certain number unless you start having additional associates selling on your behalf, or a really large marketing team and a really robust support system. So adding team members to your agency, does it scare you? Does it excite you? If someone said there's 3 team members that want to join you right now, are you ready? So that gives you a kind of a gut check. Is your business currently, the way you have it set up, sustainable, and is it scalable? And then how about sponsoring a super large local event? You ready to jump right in? You ready? You've never done one before. Do you feel supported? Do you feel like you've got everything that you need to be able to say yes to that? And then do the thing you see other advisors doing. And there are so many successful advisors for us to be inspired by, for you to be inspired by. But this is a question, a gut check assessment for you. Is your business sustainable and scalable based on answering these questions? If you were able to say yes to all 5 of those questions without hesitation, you can just hang up right now. You don't need to be watching this because you've learned you're not in that growing paid stage. You've already got a super strong support system, or you've got a technology that's rocking and roll for you. Chances are most of you, if you're honest with yourself, would not be able to say yes to all 5 and maybe only say yes to 1. That's my what's my word I'm looking for? My experience. All right. Host agency reviews. I have a different Facebook group for them to go to. Fiercely Forward has moved to something else. So thanks for posting Fiercely Forward. Don't go there. I'm going to give you a different one. Okay. So anything to say to that, Miss Steph?
Just oops, sorry about that.
That's okay.
But Jen, these are great things because I really like so many people are stuck and they don't think about like, how can I scale my agency and focus on it? So love the questions.
Yep, exactly. Or am I ready to do it? Otherwise, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to have all these missed opportunities because you didn't feel confident, you didn't feel prepared. And, kudos to you. Don't take on something that you don't feel confident and prepared in, right? Like it's not to say no to it, but to say, wait, wow, I had this opportunity. How can I feel? What can I do to feel more confident in being able to say yes to something like this? All right. So we're going to go back down this independent singular thought process versus a support business type process. So when you stay independent, here are the cons. You become singular. And again, I am all about it. I got lots of advisors that I know that are very good by themselves. They're kicking butt. But I want you to ask yourself, you could be perceived as a transactional relationship versus an agency business relationship by your consumer. If not set up properly, it could be perceived that way. This is your business success is tied to you and you alone. And it's also tied to you and you as a brand by itself. You know, if something happens to you, or if you want to sell your business, you are now having people say, no, I've always done business with Michelle. No, 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 it's Michelle's Travels. Where's Michelle? Where did Michelle go? Right? It's only scalable to a certain degree. And your long-term value is harder to predict. And then I find that most of you stay in this because you're super control freaks, right? Like they're control freaks. I find this about advisors. They're control freaks. And I dig that about them because quite frankly, they want to be involved with every aspect of the business because they want to get it right. And I dig that, but it can be limiting. And this is the thing, when you stay in that independent singular phase, it could be meeting your goals. It could be making the impact that you are looking for. It could do everything that you're looking for, and that's good. But a lot of people think that staying independent is also going to allow them to be more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like more of an agency business type. All right. So I kind of tell advisors all the time, Steph, you've probably heard me say this. When you introduce yourself, you should never say, I'm a travel advisor. If you own your own business, you should say, I own a travel agency.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say I'm a travel advisor, you are a singular entity. You are a person of one. And a person of one to a consumer can make more exceptions. A person of one many times can be walked on, right? Boundaries not, what's the word I'm looking for? Boundaries not adhered to, right? A singular person becomes, oh, you don't need to ask your boss. You are the boss, right? So there's a lot of negativity options that you cannot take advantage of when you stay in that singular mindset. Now, again, many people do it and they do it successfully. When you say I own a travel agency, all of a sudden the conversation changes. And the reason why it changes is like, oh, really? You own an agency? That's amazing. Where? Oh, right here in Cleveland, right here in Minneapolis, right in the, suburbs of Minneapolis. Again, we focus on family travel, and you use the word we. Now you become an entity and you're an owner of a business. So whether you're one person or you're 10 people, always introduce yourself as I own a travel agency, unless you work for a travel agency as an employee. So in the support mode, when you start bringing on support, as you can tell, I'm a big believer in bringing on a team, not necessarily additional advisors, but you need to have support in your business. We're never going to get where we want to go, where everybody connects with a travel advisor for their vacation if we don't know how to scale these businesses. So on the support side, you are more of a business. You're doing business with an entity, right? They look at it as an entity that they're doing business with. A team equals depths in your offerings. If you have 2 virtual assistants and a kick-butt CRM, and you've got someone who's doing your social media on your behalf or managing your Google business profile or whatever that is, it's a depth of offering because now you've got more free time for you to be able to be more proactive in your business and learn more. Scalability is easier to see and accomplish. There is long-term built-in value to your business because when you go to sell your business, you're selling a business that's not, Michelle's Travels. You're selling a business that's, a Cleveland travel agency or whatever. I'm making it up. It's run by you. You become the CEO of your business. More so than just the only person that's curating experiences. And you really do have a legacy driven impact. And that is actually the name of the Facebook group. It's called Legacy Driven Pros. So if you go to Facebook, and I don't know if you want to post that or not, Steph, but it's a legacy driven travel pros or legacy driven pros. I have a slide for it. So you can see the difference, right? So as you're sitting here listening and you're answering those questions, here are some next moves that you can make to help you kind of take it one step further. The first thing you should do, and I know Host Agency Reviews has a really great, I'm sure, article on how to determine if you're profitable. If not, I've got one that I can send. But are you profitable? And how do you know? How do you know you're profitable? Right? That's a great question to ask yourself. Do you look at your P&Ls? Do you know exactly what's the return on investment when you've gone to this particular event? What's the cost of acquisition for your new clients? What's the average commission that you're making per transaction? Putting all that into a profitability plan, and then also asking yourself, how much money am I spending versus how much money am I making? And the difference between the amount of money you bring in and the amount of money you spend is your profit. So profitability plan. How do you know if you're profitable? Another move that you can make is you could decide and design your exit strategy. And that's that question, answering that question, what am I building towards? What I'm building towards what? I'm building towards selling one day. Well, then you should design what that exit strategy looks like, right? You should design and also have a backup plan in case something happens unexpectedly where you need to walk away from your business for a few months or a month because you just need R&R. One of our top agency owners, Bird Bergeron with the Travel Birds, is taking a 30-day sabbatical to spend time with her kids before they go to school. And she had to really plan ahead of time to make sure she's got her systems, processes, and support team in place so that she could do that effectively without affecting her business in a negative way. Most advisors have a tough time doing that. Then the next thing, another move that you could be making right now is evaluate your marketing funnel. First off, do you have one? or is it time for you to get help? A lot of folks, listen, when I ask the question, where do you get most of your customers from? What do you think the number one answer is when I ask somebody, where do most of your customers come from? What do you think the answer is?
Friends and family.
Friends and family, referrals, word of mouth, repeat customers. Well, guess what, guys? That's a marketing funnel. But do you have an actual program in place or a process in place to be able to stay in front of them in a meaningful way and be proactive? I keep mentioning Vacation Planners, which is the franchise division that TPI started to serve those advisors that really don't want to do a lot of the marketing. They don't want to do any marketing. We do all their marketing for them. And one of the things that why we do that is to give them an opportunity to be proactive with those friends, with those family members, with their current customers, to having consultation calls, setting up twice a year. Hey, let's get on the phone for the next 20 minutes. Let's talk about what are those dreams that you're looking for? What's coming up in your lives where you might want to have a vacation planned around that milestone moment? What's that bucket list? And people really kind of call it the inspiration list now. Like, what are the 3 things you've always wanted to do? Let me be on a lookout. These are proactive calls that many advisors don't have time for. And so they hire out for someone to do all their marketing for them so that they can do what they do best, which is have those conversations. And then the marketing funnel of asking for reviews and referrals. I think I've done a webinar for you guys at Host Agency Reviews about how to effectively ask for a review and leverage that review. A review just with somebody posting it one time in your Facebook page is not effective. A review could be part of a whole marketing funnel attached to your Google business profile. We actually ask for reviews for our Vacation Planners franchisees and post those on their Google business profile, and then turn them into social media assets, and then put them into their email newsletter, and then continue on with their directory listing. And like, if you get a great review, what is a great review, and how do you leverage that? So evaluate your marketing funnel. How are you getting those phone calls coming into you or those repeat customers? And then the next move option is to go ahead and build your team and to ask yourself, is my team scaling by adding additional advisors? And that's what's going to bring in additional income, which allows me to have a little more proactivity in my business. Or do you build the team through that support spectrum, which is hiring out a virtual assistant, finding, partnering into maybe a new business model, getting together with some other advisors and putting together something that y'all can all tap into, sharing a virtual assistant. I have advisors that do that. They share a virtual assistant. They train them once, they understand, they all use the same CRM, and they share a virtual assistant. So those are some next move options for folks to be thinking about. Do we have any comments about that? I know a lot of people watch this later. Referrals. Yes, Rita. Okay, good deal. Oh, thank you, Host Agency Reviews, for putting the new one. Thank you. All right. So this is where I would love for all of you guys to join. It's a passion Facebook group that I started about 2 years ago when I started to see that people are selling their businesses or they have the desire to sell their business, but they don't have anybody to sell the business to, or they just close down. right? And they don't have anybody to sell the business to because there's not a lot of consistency out there in the professionalism within our industry. Clearly, anyone who's listening to this is a professional. You wouldn't be listening to this webinar if you weren't a professional. So you're already 3 and 4 steps ahead of so many other people. But I started this because I really, my desire is to post things and have conversations with other legacy driven travel professionals that are looking to shape the future of our industry in an advisor standpoint. We don't talk about partners. We don't do any of that. It's more business building, legacy forward thinking type conversations, and quite frankly, a lot of motivation. And then I listen to a ton of different podcasts, and I post a lot of that on there, and others do as well. So it's really about helping to define travel excellence and elevating our industry's future by having legacy driven impact in our businesses and the way we look at them. And so that's why it's really important when you're at a crossroads. And again, you didn't tune in unless you were at a crossroads. It's important that when you're at that crossroads to slow down and ask yourself some of those tough questions. Where are you really ready? Where are you not ready? What are some of the moves that you can make right now to get you one step further to meeting those goals? And that's what I got to say about that, Steph.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have a question for you because one of the things, oh, wait, unless you have another slide you want to go
Nope,
through.
that's well, the other slide is connect with me, but we can show that later. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. So my question is, I know for a lot of advisors, they don't often think about their exit strategies. It's becoming more common, but with the franchise division with Vacation Planners, what kind of premium is put into your agency because it's a franchise, because it has those built-in systems? And then the other, it's two-part. My other part of the question is, do you know what percent of, because I would imagine if you're selling your franchise, people within your franchise network are the most likely to acquire you because they're just getting clients from that. Do you know what percent buy?
Yeah, we just started Vacation Planners. So we don't have anybody wanting to sell their franchise just yet. What we're finding, though, is to answer your first part of the question, the reason why there is a higher perceived value and a higher value is, our franchisees get to claim an area. Now, you can sell anywhere. Anyone can sell anywhere. But one of the things that I've noticed in our industry, let me back it up a little bit. The reason we started the franchise was twofold. One, I wanted to overcome the 3 most common objections that I see with agencies and advisors being able to really scale into a real robust business. And again, there are plenty of robust businesses that are not franchises. But the 3 things is they don't have time to market, nor are they good at marketing, and they just have zero desire. They don't want to market. All they want to do is sell. All they want to do is sell. That's all they want to do. I just want to sell. I want to serve my customers. I want to make an impact in my community. The second thing that they are struggling with is technology. It's always coming at them. There's always changes. So we have a very strong technology suite. We partnered with Turn, all the workflows, email automations, everything's preloaded. They don't have to worry about any of it, all that stuff. Email marketing, everything. We do everything specific to that franchisee. And then the third is that local impact recognition. So the vacation planners, as opposed to some of the other ways the other franchises or franchises work in the travel industry, the vacation planners, it's Vacation Planners of Central Arkansas. You claim that area, and we market Vacation Planners of Central Arkansas. It's Vacation Planners of Salt Lake City. You own Vacation Planners of Salt Lake City. It gives it more of that brick and mortar feel. And then when we drive traffic via Google Ads and the Google business profiles and all of that, it's, oh, I'm the owner of Vacation Planners of Salt Lake City. There is a lot of power in having a name that's attached to a region. Versus it's kind of like Chick-fil-A is Chick-fil-A of Lake Mary. It's not Bob's Chicken Shack, a Chick-fil-A franchise. As soon as you do, when it's Bob's Chicken Shack, a Chick-fil-A franchise, what do you remember first? Bob's Chicken Shack. Even if it's Chick-fil-A by Bob's Chicken Shack, you still have this other entity that's attached to it. Ours are Vacation Planners of North Orlando, Vacation Planners of Central Florida, Vacation Plan. Right now, we're actively looking for people in the Texas, Georgia, and Florida areas. actively looking for. And actually, I have a webinar coming up. If you email me, I'll send you the details. But that's it. So when you go to sell a business, selling Bob's Chicken Shack doesn't have the same value as a Chick-fil-A of Lake Mary. It's the same in the travel industry. Also, when you have a name that's attached and an agency or a business that's attached to this solo entity, or maybe one person with a couple of, you're buying a database that has no guarantee they're going to continue to buy. There is no value to it. It is a database is what you're buying. You're not buying a book of business. Now, there are ways to work through that, through you staying on for a couple of years, and then it's a percentage of commissions, and that's happening. In the vacation planners world, as we grow, we see agencies that want to sell, but they're those control freaks, right? They want to make sure they're selling to someone who's going to serve their customers in a professional manner, right? And so unfortunately, it's hard for them to find other advisors who are going to serve their customers in a professional manner. At Vacation Planners, because we have a consistent consumer experience through our technology and our branding and the partners that we sell, and we're partnered with Signature and the consortia. Turn is the technology. Everyone gets email automations. Like, all those things are consistent. They feel a little more comfortable selling their agency and their customers. They're selling. You don't sell people, obviously, but it's that book of business. And it's really, I've built this business for 45 years and I'm just going to give it over to somebody. That's a tough thing to do. It's very emotional, right? Business, it's a relationship business. Steph, if you went to go sell host agency reviews, you're not going to just sell it to the highest bidder.
No, definitely not.
Right. And that's how most professionals look at their business that they've started. There's a brand there. There's a brand they're proud of. There's a history there. There's a legacy that's been built. So I hope I answered your question. The Vacation Planners franchise, I firmly believe is the future for a good 20% of the industry out there. 20% of the advisors are going to say, you know what? All I want to do is sell, make an impact in my community, be the agency around the corner. You don't even have to have physical agency. And I need to have partners that are going to be able to do that for me. And I want to do it in a consistent way so that one day I can be in a financial position from a bank standpoint to say, oh, you own a franchise? You want to buy this agency? Yes, you're approved. Right? So there's a lot too. That's why I keep saying there's this independent solo. It's an individual transactional versus being a business that's got a support system behind it, whether it's you've built the agency because you've added advisors like desks in a room, or are you building it because you have a rock solid support system? And in this case, we talk a lot about the franchise because this is different. Franchising is still one of the most popular ways for people to buy a business. When they buy a business, they want not a business in a box, they want a brand in a box, and they want to be able to just do nothing but make money, serve their local community. And that's how we've designed Vacation Planners. Sorry, I got on a soapbox. You can't ask me questions like that, Steph, without seeing me get passionate.
Well, I love learning these things. So I have another question too, since we've got a little bit of a shy audience today. Luckily, I am not. So you mentioned that each Vacation Planners franchise has a locale that's kind of assigned to them. Now, I noticed, like you said, of Salt Lake City, but then North Orlando. Is it like how do you determine the geofence of this agency?
So it's not a territory, right? It's claiming the area. And what we say is, let's use North Orlando as an example. We look at where Lynn Finster owns our North Orlando Vacation Planners, right? So she lives in, I think, Longwood, right? So we look at Longwood, that's where she lives, and that's where her business is based out of, and it's a 75-mile radius around. If that's still considered North Orlando, then we're good to go. But she can sell anywhere, and anyone can sell to anyone. There's not a territory, because you can't do that in the franchise world. Just like I use Chick-fil-A, just an easy reference, but you can't, Chick-fil-A can't say, hey, my patrons can only buy from my Chick-fil-A. No. They're traveling, they're on the road, they're going to buy from any Chick-fil-A. And the reason why the one in Lake Mary, the people who go to that Lake Mary one feel good stopping at the Augusta, Georgia one is because the Lake Mary experience is fantastic. So they trust it when they go into Augusta, Georgia. You see, that's part of that consistent consumer experience. So what happens is, from a geo standpoint, from a Google standpoint, when you say travel advisor near me, if they're in that 75-mile radius, their Google business profile is going to come up. We work on the SEO side to that. Does that answer your question?
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And we have franchisees that look at purchasing multiple franchises, but they have to have a principal in those other areas as well, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
We have individuals that like to invest in it. We have advisors that have purchased a franchise that have also kept their other business. There's one advisor that I know of that her current brand, she likes her current brand under her current brand, and that's all luxury. She's looking at purchasing a franchise because she also wants, because it's a smart business decision, she also wants to scale another agency, but that one's going to be more of the contemporary cruise lines and the all-inclusives that are not luxury. She doesn't want to mess up her luxury branding, and that's very specific, but she understands buying a franchise is a smart financial decision as long as she's got someone else who could help answer those questions. So she'll own two businesses.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Thanks, Jenn.
Sure.
I think I'm tapped out on
Yeah.
questions. That was really helpful.
That's okay. I can jam a lot in 45 minutes, so it is okay. So in recap, I think things for folks to think about are these questions right here. These tough questions. Ask yourself, spend the next 10 minutes right after this webinar. If you're not answering them right now, spend the next 10 minutes answering those questions. It shouldn't take you any more than 10 minutes. And if you can't answer one, like what impact do I want to make with my business? Or what do I need to do to change or get closer to my goals? Then that's where I would start. Like if I don't know the answer to one of these questions, I'm at a crossroads. I got to know the answer to these questions. Otherwise, I'm not going to make another good, smart move. And I'm just going to stay where I'm at. And, sometimes no decision is the worst decision, right? Because movement, right? The next one would be the gut assessment. I would definitely ask myself, could I say yes to all of these? And be honest with yourself. I'm not having you turn it in. It's not homework for me. Be honest with yourself. And then just be aware of what it looks like from an independent singular standpoint, which is perfectly okay. I can't say it enough. It's perfectly fine. But these are the things that you may run into and you may be okay with it. Or do you want something different? And if you want something different, you want it to go somewhere different, you might have to be looking at, I've got to start scaling with support, right? So scaling with people, scaling with support systems, so on and so forth.
All right. I've got another question, Jenn. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go for it.
Okay. So the main audience for Vacation Planners franchise is people with these established businesses that have their own brand already. Mm-hmm. How do you work with people to transfer their new brand to Vacation Planners? Do you walk them through that? Because I imagine that would be kind of challenging.
It's not. Most people don't know the name of your company. I hate to break it to you. You're not McDonald's, for God's sakes. What they do is they know Steph Lee. I mean, Host Agency Reviews is different. You've built a brand, a very solid brand. We find the most perfect franchisee, the one that does the best in our model, a whole done for you, is the person that says, all I want to do is sell. And they usually have about $400,000 a year in business, $350,000, $400,000. $500,000 a year, and they want to get to 4 million, 3 million. There's no way you're going to do it without starting bringing on support, having really fine-tuned your things. And that's a very small percentage of advisors. Let's just be honest. It's a very small percentage of advisors that can get to $1 million, $1.5 million, making $200,000 and $300,000 a year in their salary without scaling their business and scaling it with a support team or scaling it by adding advisors. Sorry, that's the reality, guys. You got to have help, right? It's not scalable, right? So there's a very small percentage that can do it. So for the other large percent, what happens is what we've done is we've said, hey, no longer, hey, guess what? As the owner of ABC Travel Agency, I've purchased Vacation Planners of Central Arkansas. And we just move their attention from that Facebook group over to the new one. All their email newsletters, which we do specifically for each franchisee. Every piece of social media is specific to each franchisee. It's not a copy and paste. It's not a Rallyo. It's not a branch. It's none of that. These are individual graphics based on that franchisee, based on what's important to them over the next 30 days. We do all of that for them, and it just kind of naturally goes over. They don't have to change their phone number. They get a new email address. You get a website. Everyone's an ASTA member, a CLIA member. You're on every directory. We put you on every directory locally. We drive Google ads towards you as your Google business profile increases. So it's not a challenge because most people don't know the name of your business.
That's great to know, because I feel like that would be something that people would maybe be a block for them to be like, oh, it's going to be a lot of work to change over. Okay,
Yeah.
we got a couple other questions. So we got one from Christy saying, how are people handling the issues with different nations closing the doors to U.S. citizens or making it harder to get access?
Christy, turn off the news. I'm going to tell you right now, people are traveling all over this world. Now, if there's a country that's closing the doors, then you don't send your travelers there. Turn off the news. I cannot be any more blunt than that. People are traveling. Business is booming. Americans are traveling all over. Canadians are still coming to America. Don't let anyone tell you Canadians aren't. There might be a small percentage. That's okay. Turn off the news. You know what needs to happen? And if you don't want to go to another country, or your clients don't want to go to another country, our country is beautiful. Lots of great things to do within our country. Bring them into the United States, keep them in the United States. Here's the thing, Christy, and everybody else who's listening. And if this is the first time you've ever heard me speak, and Steph hears me speak all the time, I'm kind of a no fluff kind of gal. I'm just going to tell you how it is. You want to build a business? You got to get out there and start talking. People want to travel. They're relying on you. Your job is not to book a 7-night cruise. Your job is to kickstart somebody's first 10 days of their honeymoon, of their 50-year marriage. You know, you guys play the biggest role and impact in our world. You bring people to other people's areas of, even if it's another city within the same state, you are the one that creates and curates an experience that gives people the confidence to go and visit a new culture, a different culture, see things from a different set of eyes. Turn off the news, Christy. Everybody's traveling. They want to travel. And that's your job. And that's my passion for you. And on behalf of you who got into this business, kudos to you. I couldn't do what you guys do. So how do you handle it? You don't talk about it. You just don't. There's no need for it. That people who don't want to travel won't travel. It's okay. You don't need to convince them. You need to make sure you understand you're part of the solution. The travel industry is the solution to this. And I'm really getting on my soapbox now, but I'm really changing that messaging. Take a good question that lots of people are wondering. Christy, your job is not to convince them not to travel. And everybody else, I'm not picking on Christy. I think Christy's amazing because she asked the question. It's not your job to convince them to travel. Your job, your role in this is to tell people are traveling, to show them, to inspire them, to encourage them to call you, to encourage them to reach out. If they don't want to travel, we dealt with this during the pandemic afterwards. Is it safe to travel? No advisor should ever say it's safe to travel. The word safe should never be in your vocabulary, right? That's not your role. That's your role, is to expose them to them, to ask them the right questions, to provide them the right information. But guys, people are traveling. I just listened to a podcast. They're continuously talking about over tourism. If there's over tourism, that means people are traveling. And if your Christy, if your question is about the people in Barcelona with the water pistols being mad at their country because the country's not protecting them from all the people coming in, listen to a podcast by Travel Weekly, the FOLO. They just had a couple of experts on there that are talking about how this is not really about the travelers. They're not mad at the travelers. They're mad at their country because the country is not putting in the fail safes. Hawaii is an excellent example of how they were able to help individuals, because listen, Hawaii is a beautiful set of islands and a spectacular place to go. And Hawaii has done a great job with their marketing to help people who are traveling to Hawaii to respect the foliage, to respect the beaches, to respect where they're going. That's what it's all about. It's respect of where we're sending folks.
Another great question here from Burr Travel Bureau. Do you
Hi, Bert.
know do you know a typical multiplier the travel industry uses to assess the value of a business? And
No.
then maybe can you explain multiplier for those that aren't as familiar?
Sure. Yeah, they're talking about the multiplying of the EBITDA, which I can never remember what it stands for, but there isn't really an established one because every business is different. That's the challenge, right? Some businesses have a brick and mortar, so there's physical assets. Some of our travel agencies work from their home and have direct contracts, right? Some agencies, we had an agency at TPI who did a lot of corporate travel, but she had no contracts with these corporates. They just did business with her every year and she was fantastic, right? But she had no contract. So it made the value of her agency less than what it really could have been because she didn't have any contracts. There is no standard multiplier though, but thanks for that's a great question. There is another podcast that Travel Weekly did. I want to say it was Emma Weissman and Jamie Becerra, Trade Secrets podcast. This was probably last year. I just put in trade secrets, how to sell your agency. They had a consultant on there. His name was Bob something or another. I always forget his name. That was a
Oh,
fantastic.
Bob Sweeney.
No, I don't think it was Sweeney,
Oh.
babe. It might have been, but that is all the new requirements. Oh, thank you, Christy, for your clarification. The no, it was Bob something or another, Dr. Bob something. Anyways, that was a fantastic
Oh,
podcast.
he's the one that does the finances. Yeah.
It
Uh,
was really, really good. Do we know what percentage of agents are considered independent versus support, like working with VAs but still running their businesses solo with that? No, I don't. I would say it's an excellent question. I would not say I don't, there's not a percentage. And I don't know, maybe that's a question you can put on your survey next time, Steph. You do such a great job with your surveys. Bob Jocelyn, thank you, Dr. Bob
yes.
Jocelyn. Yes, yes, yes. New requirements says his applications. Christy, nobody cares, babe. Nobody cares. That's your job. That's when the more confusing they make it out there to get in and get out, the more confusing they make it, the more your value increases, Christy. Nobody cares. They don't care. They just want to travel. That's all I'm saying. And Christy, thank you for your questions. I hope you don't think that I'm picking on you because I'm not. They're great questions. Very good questions. So I would say a lot of people, I think Cirillo Travel, you know what it is? I think what it is there's more advisors at a crossroads. Maybe it's just internally right now more than anything else. I just hear about it more often. The role of the host agency, something that I'm being interviewed about on Monday, is out there. What is the true role of a host agency? What's their responsibility and what's not their responsibility? And this is coming from advisors trying to work with advisors. Motivated to help their fellow advisors to ensure that they're building rock solid businesses. Your host agency is supposed to be your support system. It's not supposed to be your system. It's your support system. At TPI, 11 years ago, we changed our branding to it's your brand, your business, your identity. We're just there to help you build it, right? We're not your brand. We're not your business, and we should not be your identity. At TPI, there's not one piece of swag that has a TPI logo on it. Not one. Not one piece of swag. Any swag we give, it's like Rockstar Advisor, travel agent on board. Connect with me. I'm a Rockstar Advisor. We never put TPI because TPI is not a consumer-facing brand. It's all about our advisors in the host agency side. On the franchise side, everything's got vacation planners on it because that's building that brand, right? So I think one of the best investments you can make in your business, and I've said this for years, is hiring a VA. Either a virtual assistant or an assistant that sits right next to you. That is probably the best investment you can make in your business. Don't hire someone to do social media. Hire an assistant. The second best investment is getting and utilizing to its optimum a CRM. And there's some great CRMs out there. At TPI, we buy bulk pricing for our advisors so they can choose between Turn and Travify. We buy down that license price and they get over 60% off the price at TPI. And then with Travel Joy, we've got a 20% discount for them with that because we believe in the CRM. So maybe it might be CRM first and now hire an assistant second because these CRMs are pretty rock solid.
So with Surio's question, the first parts of the business to give up to help us for the control freaks out there, would you say that's hiring on the admin assistant
Yeah.
and okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm digging you, control freaks. I get it. Like that's what makes you so good because you care so much. You want to make sure it's right, but you will never scale. And listen, if the answer to the question is what impact am I looking to make with my business? If it's a low impact because of where you are in your life, the stage in your life, how you want to have work-life balance, whatever that is, that's cool too. Just know where you're going. It's not about everybody having to build multi-million dollar businesses. Like I dig it when someone makes an extra $15,000 a year in commission or $20,000 a year in commission. That's an impact, right? They're making an impact to their business and their bottom line. And maybe they're making an impact to 50 people a year. 50 people a year went on a great vacation because they worked with a travel advisor. If we all do that, we make a massive impact.
This is very unfortunate, Jen. I don't know if you can hear, but our sirens are going off, tornado sirens. So
tornado sirens are going off. Oh my God, be safe. Or is it you saying we're done?
It's the state saying, Steph, Jen, wrap it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are
you got to be safe, Steph.
Don't worry, they're just testing it. It's
Yeah.
just super loud.
Okay.
So thank you everybody for tuning in. Lots of great questions at the end, which we appreciate. Mm-hmm. Jen's email is up here, jen@vacationplanners.com. You can check out more info if you're kind of curious about Vacation Planners as a franchise on their website. And then again, just a reminder, this Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time, Jen will be live again on our YouTube channel answering our Friday 15 questions. So if you didn't get enough of her today, you can tune in on Friday and get a little bit more Jen love in your life.
I got a little feisty today because I believe in you guys so much, but
love it. Love it. Well, thanks, Jen, for sharing your expertise, helping people start to nudge and think about these things to move in the right direction. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us. We will see you hopefully this Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.